All right. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to day 2 of Burning Heat 2024 Las Vegas. We're going to be your commentators this morning. My player name is D. Real name is Devin.
And my name is T-Swag, among other things. We're actually both going to be up later in this event, but for now we are just commentating for pool number 12, which will be the first one of the morning. So in this pool we have Jay, who advanced from pool 11. Very enigmatic player, submitted absolutely nothing for the commentary questionnaire, but we also saw him play, so that does answer some questions, and the answer is he's pretty good. Got like, 40 perfects on Paranoia Survivor or something, which that is not one of those songs that really has a timing window, so that's pretty good. Got like 50 on Idola, which is a pretty hard 16. So yeah, he's solid. Very much earned his advancement.
And then a top-seeded player in this pool is going to be Oxfordvalley. Oxfordvalley, as many of you may know, is a really great player. I actually got to play against him at Boba Cup 2. I believe he advanced from pool 7.
Yeah, he advanced from pool 7 up to 11. We did actually take that into account when making this tournament. He literally cannot advance more than 3 pools, because if he does that, he ends up in the bracket, so, you know.
Yeah, great player.
Also, he's just seated higher because he's really good, but, you know.
He tied with me. Tied.
We know. Yes. All right. Player facts while they are ironing things out. So Oxfordvalley says his favorite song is New Decade, and his favorite chart is Vanquish the Ghost, ESP, which is to say, you know, monkey business, but tag edition.
If there's one thing I did learn about Oxford is he's very strong with gimmick charts.
Oh yeah, he has, from what we can tell, he has a lot of chart knowledge. I mean, you do not advance 4 pools without knowing the game pretty well. He's a SoCal player, mostly plays at Round 1 Burbank, you know, which is, I guess, still kind of the hotspot for SoCal players in general.
It's his proudest achievement.
Yeah, PFCing a majority of the 14s folder. Again, demonstrating like some pretty good chart knowledge, and I imagine he'll be doing, you know, knowing a lot of charts in the game is definitely going to help with draws, like
especially at this tier where we're at now. This is where you're going to see a lot more gimmicks, a lot more just tech for DDR players here.
For sure.
Was John next?
Yeah, so we have John, which I'm pretty sure is like the single most enigmatic thing you can sign up for on a tournament under, because it's just like, you know, is that like John Cena? Like John Wick? Like, who is this?
It's spelled like all the other Johns.
Yeah, he's actually, well, it's actually not, because it doesn't have an H in it. But, yeah, so the reason he is entered under John is because his original tag is Chaos, spelled K-A-Y-0-S, which is confusing because there's a guy from NorCal who goes by K-A-Y-0, 2 S's. So pretty much the exact same tag with like the exact same stylization, just one fewer S. Also, they're both named John. Like, how does that happen? So he's just John for this event. He's a Vegas local, mostly plays here at Red Note. He said that his favorite chart is Battle Against a True Hero CSP, which unfortunately we cannot see in this draw because it's an 18, and this draw is only 14s for 17s, but Shock Arrow enjoyer. All right. Grew up with music, was playing piano by age 11, and took actual dance classes when he was 12, which, you know,
explains a lot.
Yeah. You don't really see it that much with this game, since this isn't really dancing. It's kind of just, you know,
leaned into other things from dancing.
His proudest accomplishment is meeting all the lifelong friends along his 20-plus year journey with this game. Also, he PFC'd to 17 this year. So,
okay,
you know, covering all the bases there.
And I was actually with John when I got my first 17 PFC. A very supportive player, and I couldn't do it without the motivation of him as well.
He's really motivated. Really great guy. And then the last entrant in this pool is WDRM.
White Dr. Mario.
Yeah, very mostly know him as like a really old school ITG player. He used to write a lot of charts back in the day. Remember charts for G and I Go Crazy were probably like his biggest ones.
He did the G chart for
the really old one. Yeah. What? Yeah, the 11. Yep, that was him. Yeah, he mostly plays Stepmania 10 now, but still dabbles in DDR. He said his notable, the thing most notable about him is that he loves crossovers, since, clearly that's just not a thing in
I do
DDR.
too. I'm sorry, I love crossovers.
I mean, same. His main arcade is Red Note. His favorite songs are Come to Life and Unbelievable, so going for like, the high energy like female vocal songs. His favorite chart is Felmo Eternal Love Mix. So that old Supernova boss song. So
absolutely,
he's old. Yep. Okay. And his accomplishment is finally entering a DDR tournament. So he has just left himself as an enigma until now, I guess.
We're glad to have all these players in this pool too.
Absolutely. Like, it's great to see people from other games still turning out to support the event.
Absolutely. Just a little touch of motivation and a little bit of pixie dust, and there goes the courage.
Pretty much. Plus, Vegas's community, goes way back, especially in terms of, ITG players like John and WDRM. So it's nice to see them still coming out all these years later.
Absolutely. And then there was just a little, I don't know, I haven't been playing DDR lately and stuff like that, but it's like, come on and show out. Once you're a DDR player, you'll always be a DDR player.
Right. Okay, so it looks like they're doing the card draw now. For anyone not familiar with how this works, so there are 4 people in this pool. They are all going to play a set of 6 songs. So to get the songs, 10 songs are drawn from the selected difficulty range. For this pool, I believe that is 14s through 17s. Each player will protect one of the 4 songs. And then of the 6 unprotected songs, each player will veto one of them. So they end up with a set of 6 songs. They'll play first the 4 songs that each person protected, and then they will play the 2 songs that somehow no one either protected or vetoed. So theoretically, the last 2 songs would be the most unpredictable because no player chose them as their preference.
That could be a blessing or a curse.
Yeah, it could be. Yesterday we had a pool where one of the unprotected songs was Bag CSP because I guess everyone just played chicken with it and assumed no one else was going to veto it, and then when the last guy came around they were just like, no, actually, I'm keeping that.
Yeah, surprise everybody.
Yeah.
I personally struggle on that chart. Had to play it at last.
I mean, that's
card.
good. If you're going to struggle with the chart, the chart where the rhythms are actually wrong is a pretty good one to struggle on. It demonstrates that you can actually listen to music.
Exactly. I feel a little better. I guess I feel a little better about it. All right. And we will be starting our pool here shortly. Players are going to be allowed 2 practice songs of any difficulty, and then we'll jump right into our pool.
Right. Can we, who's running the stream?
Right now, Dom.
Okay.
Do you need him?
Well, I just want to, see the draw.
Yeah, what
maybe
is our
also
draw?
Chat, because,
once he puts it on here,
if any of y'all are up here, I cannot see you. I'm sorry.
Dom, can we switch it over to what the card draw is? He's gonna switch it right now.
All right. So what do we got? They had a test drop that was all crossover charts. I like that a lot. But okay, this is
spicy.
All right, so so their first songs are Jet Coaster Windy. That is John's Protect. It's a 15. Doesn't do a whole lot, but it's at a pretty fast BPM. It's 268 or something. So
268.
It's 8th notes, but fast enough that it kind of feels like 16ths.
Ooh.
Let's see, Chinese Snowy Dance. That's a fairly classic 16. 175 has a couple runs, couple turns, no gimmicks or anything, but a bit of everything. We have Max Period Expert. So that is Jay's Protect.
Such a hard song to time.
It is a very hard song to time. Original It originally debuted in like one of the home versions, right? DDR Extreme for like.
Was it Extreme or was it one of the Wii version? Not the Wii version.
It's older than the Wii.
Oh my!
Might have been like the Xbox. I don't remember, but it's old and it was revived for DDR 2014 with the new challenge chart, which thankfully we are not playing because that chart is really hard.
They should have kept that one in the casket.
But even the 16, as a tournament pick, is pretty devious because like it has a lot of tempo changes. Like it's mostly 300, but then there's a really quiet part at 180, and then it goes back to 300 and up to 600. So you have to be really comfortable with like a wide range of just like reading speeds. Also, the sync is very questionable.
Yeah.
Like the first 300 part, I want to say it like starts out early and just like drifts late.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. One of those.
Honestly,
It feels like it's just the wrong tempo.
It's hard to gauge it because of that reason in general.
And then we have Oxfordvalley's pick, which is New Era Difficult. So that is a 15 was introduced. DDR 820.
820.
It was like the second Golden League song. Has a lot of gimmicks, like a lot of stops, a couple slowdowns. So
and as mentioned earlier, he loves gimmick charts.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about his chart knowledge, and that is very much something you would pick if you have good chart knowledge. So good call on his part. And then the two unprotected songs are actually also both Golden League songs. We have Give Me, which is a reasonably fast 15. It's like 174 BPM. Has a couple little like 5-note drills. Yeah, has some really interesting gallop rhythms in the first half. And then we have Rampage Hero, which is a 16. One of those charts that kind of has a bit of everything, like some little bursts, a lot of really nice crossovers, actually.
Nice little green section to just kind of stomp on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think one of the easier 16s for sure.
Yeah, if you're just going for timing, as long as you can execute it, like, it doesn't do anything too crazy.
Yeah, not too much tech in that one.
Yeah. The turns at the end are maybe a little unconventional, but, if you're...
killer.
Yeah, but like if you're good with turns, like it's not like Vanessa or something that's just going to like completely trip you up.
Make you question why you play DDR.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Looking at the things they vetoed, yeah, these are all pretty respectable veto choices. Oxfordvalley vetoed Unfinished Steam Maiden, which is a really stamina-intensive 17.
Oh yeah.
Like just a lot of strings at 170 BPM, so can understand not wanting to do that first thing in the morning. Jay vetoed Like a Star, which is the only 14 here, so he's just gaming. Oh wait, no, it's not the only 14 here, but I can't think of the last chart as a 14 for reasons.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's see, WDRM vetoed The History of the Future because he's old, I guess, and doesn't like the future. Also because that's just like a really...
It's different.
Yeah, it's one of those songs where you do have to know it, like there are extended 100 BPM sections, and also it's fast. If you don't like fast things, that is one of the harder 17s. And then John vetoed B4U Voltage Special, which is a chart that exists in the game, but it doesn't exist in the straw, so yeah.
Got that one little section that I would call an 18.
It's one of those charts where like most of it is perfectly fine, and then the last 8 measures or so, suddenly 16th note jacks, and maybe one of them's a foot switch, or you double step or something.
It's something.
Yeah.
Still, I think most of us don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those charts where there are multiple ways to attack it, and John's strategy is to simply veto it and not bother. So,
I do not blame him for
perfectly reasonable strategy in this tournament. Okay, so they've been warming up. We haven't really been talking about what they've been playing. It looks like on the right cab they're playing Anniversary, which is one of the more straightforward 16s. Like if you want to get your legs moving, acclimate to like slightly higher speeds, pretty good choice. It's another 16 that's like really good for like trying to time. I think it's a lot of people's like first 16 PFCs. You can see Jay already is holding a PFC. He's still holding a PFC. Okay.
And the MA is on point.
Commentator powers are not quite there yet, which is probably for the best. And it looks like on the left cab they're warming up with Cosmic Hurricane, which is a 15, but kind of has like the same energy of this, like high BPM, some little short 16th runs. So again, just something to keep to get the feet moving. Remind yourself that actually, yes, you do have to move kind of quickly occasionally. I think both of these songs are actually faster than anything in this draw, but I guess that just means if you can do it, then you'll probably be well prepared.
Exactly.
So, something to that. Each cap gets 2 warm-up songs, like one for each player.
Yeah, one for each player, and then we'll go directly into the pool. Players will play simultaneously. The audio is going to be pretty much coming from one cab, just to avoid any lag issues with our audio.
Right, also just to avoid like muddiness, because like, well, we're going to try to start the songs at the same time on both cabs. It's literally all activated by hand, so we can't really guarantee that. So if there's a small desync from the cabs, we want to make sure that that doesn't mess up stream audio. So I believe it's only the left cab, so the one Oxfordvalley and WDRM are playing on.
Yes, yep. And then we will be concluding the warm-ups here shortly. It's exciting. This is going to be a very, I think every match in this pool will be very, very close. Especially seeing Jay's advancement and how great he was with his MA on that last song as well. I think we're definitely going to have...
this definitely seems like a good pool for like general diversity in terms of skill sets. Like we have Oxfordvalley, who has great chart knowledge and is really good at gimmicky stuff. We have Jay, who I think demonstrated that he's really good at like upper end and stamina stuff. Like has demonstrated he just got like 39 perfects and 3 greats on a warm-up song, so off to a good start. We have John, who has pretty good timing.
And John's been playing ITG a lot lately too, so I feel like one thing we were going over earlier was just adjusting our timing windows to find out where that sweet spot is, because these machines will carry a lag over. But John, in general, his MA, his skill set, he's definitely in this tournament. Definitely in it.
For sure. And then WDRM, kind of a wild card. I mean, he said his biggest accomplishment is entering a tournament, so we will see. He's been around for a while. He's very good at other dance games, so he has that going for him. But
here we go as well. They're practicing 18 on their warm-up.
Well, Jay it looks like on the left. John is only playing the 16. Yeah, so they're warming up on Megalovania, which is the Sans Undertale song. Has a lot of... What are we doing? You're like pointing to something.
Oh, the sandwiches.
Oh. Yeah, we have a lot of breakfast sandwiches for all the volunteers, which is great because this is a bit early for a Sunday, at least for me.
Oh yeah.
I guess 11 a.m. is actually sort of a normal time to wake up for most people, but
especially on a weekend.
Yeah, not on a Sunday. But that's okay. The event is very much worth it.
And slowly and surely we are building a bigger crowd in-house as well, just as everybody is waking up.
Yeah, I imagine the crowd will sort of get bigger as people trickle in.
Oh yeah.
Show up for their matches and what have you.
Especially as we get closer to our top 12 for sure. That's where we're going to have always the most hype for sure.
Yep.
Shock arrows. And we're not using world's timing either with these shock arrows. It's old school.
Yeah. Yeah, so shock arrows, those are things you don't want to hit. Those are like those blue horizontal flashing bars. If you hit one of them, your screen just kind of like flickers and it makes it harder to read the arrows. Also, if you don't hit them, you get 3 EX points, so you don't want to hit them. Thankfully, there are no shock arrows in this draw, so I guess they're just being silly with their warm-up. But
could be skill check as well, kind of see how a player engages on here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those charts where if you want to fail out quickly, you don't actually want to be off the pad because of all the shocks right at the beginning. Okay, so they're failing out. I guess it doesn't quit out if they're on event mode? Or does it just take a while?
It's going to take a while. We have them sent to the event, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, we shall be starting our pool here shortly. Warm-ups are done.
To quit out during a tournament.
We're going to need somebody to delegate the pool again. But we're going to have someone to delegate like yesterday just to make sure that one person's pressing.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, if you want, I can delegate this one, then come back and stream with you just to let them know the rules on it. That way we can get everybody to start at the same time as well. Give me just 1 sec, I will be right back.
All right.
You're gonna pull a handshake, dude. And amazing. We're gonna have something fun. Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of you. I know. That's what I said. There, we had it. It was good, but all right.
Got the signs telling people to play the correct difficulty. We're at the point in the tournament where I don't think anyone's going to accidentally pick a 12, but who knows. All right, so we're starting. Okay, looks like the left cab started slightly sooner, but not too big a deal. Okay, so for anyone who's just joining us, this tournament is going to be based on what is called EX score. So if you look at the bottom of each of their screens, you see the numbers right under their tags, or I guess like on the other side of two of their tags, because two of them are actually playing on reverse, which means the arrows scroll down instead of up. Basically what EX score is if you get a marvelous, that's the tightest timing window, you get 3 points. If you get a perfect, that is 2 points. If you get a great, which we haven't seen yet, but those are green, that is 1 point. If you get a good or a miss, so good is like the loosest timing window, that's like you hit an arrow in the general vicinity, but like you weren't really being serious. Or you get a miss, which is you did not hit the arrow, you get 0 points. There's also freeze arrows, so those are arrows where you have to hold them down the entire time. If you hold one of those down, you get what's called an OK. That is also 3 points. So,
Wow.
So looking at this first song, it seems like Chaos has a small lead. Sorry, John has a small lead. But it's not a huge margin. It looks like Oxfordvalley is in second. They're not entirely synced up, but they're all doing pretty well. Like we said, this is fairly, as far as 15s go, this doesn't do a whole lot. I was going to say WDRM was still holding a gold combo, which means no grades. He got a grade before I said it, so that's not my fault. Yeah, so it looks like Chaos maintaining a decent lead. Oxfordvalley not too far behind, and WDRM and Jay not really too far behind there. Ooh. Okay, yeah, so this freeze is really long, and that's actually enough to tell us the standings. So John takes the first song with a lead of 10 over Oxfordvalley, then WDRM, and then Jay. So
nice
really good showing all around. Like,
absolutely.
A 20 EX difference between first and fourth is not very much. 27 perfects and 2 greats. Like, On a 15, that's really good. Like, I know we were saying that's an easier one, but, like, it's still a 15. Like,
And the stamina for this song
no
just
one would
because how
question that.
fast.
Yeah, for sure. And we were also talking about just, like, the challenge of sort of adjusting to these cabinets,
Yes.
especially if you come from ITG, or even if you play at, like, round 1 or something. These
Definitely
cabinets have slightly different timing, so being able to lock in on that is a very good sign. So.
Actually, just switched my adjustment timing. For the past 3 days, I've been playing at about a negative 1.0. I kind of asked around what's everybody's kind of sweet spot, and everybody's so different, but I did find negative 1.5 to be more reasonable.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see like what people read at. So WDRM 3 introduced a feature that adjusts the visual offset, so it changes like how far sort of vertically up or down the arrows are. So like if you increase it, I want to say if you want to get a Marvelous, you hit them sooner? Or is it higher up?
I believe negative. More negative you go down.
Okay.
It's been a nightmare trying to figure out which one is the better of them.
Usually the idea is like if you're hitting arrows early, you want to make it positive, and if you're hitting them late, you want to make it negative. But it's purely a visual thing. It doesn't affect how the arrows are synced to the actual music.
And then next song here we have Chinese Snowy Dance, level 16. Little tiring for this song.
It's a bit of a stamina check. Has a decent number of 16th notes at 175, so decently fast.
Will we take Chinese Snowy Dance over Spanish Snowy Dance though?
I mean, I wouldn't, but most people would. There is also a chart called Spanish Snowy Dance, which is in the same family of charts, I guess, but it's a lot more technical.
For sure.
But that's not what we're seeing today. Okay, so you can already see that there's a decent number of 16th bursts, a few kind of like broken rhythms, a few little jacks, so arrows where you want to use the same foot twice in a row, some freeze parts where you want to be a little careful what foot you sort of exit on. Looks like... Okay, they started around the same time, right? So it looks like...
Close for everybody.
Yeah, I actually can't tell. It looks like WDRM might be slightly ahead, but it's really close.
Very, very close between all players.
John still has a perfect full combo, so he hasn't gotten a break so far. And so, yeah, he still seems to be locked in. Yeah, it looks like John has a lead again. But yeah, no one has like fallen behind really. Like they're still, anyone could still take this. There are still plenty of song left. And the next section is actually one of the trickiest in the charts. Right, the section with a lot of crossovers, so we'll see if any of them do it.
A little tricky there.
Looks like they did do some of the crossovers. John did lose his full combo, but he did not lose his lead.
There we go.
Takes that again. WDRM sneaks in second, and Jay gets third. All really
John's
close
very
together.
excited.
Like,
John's
that
very
is,
excited.
Yeah, 8 points between first and third, and Oxfordvalley still triple-aided. So, yeah, everyone. It is not actually too close to call. There's a difference of 3 between those. So, yeah,
evenly balanced.
Anson is just hyping people up, which is he's good at that. Yeah, 3 points, like we said, that is in fact a single marvelous step. So if John had missed one more step, he and WDRM would have tied.
Next up, we're going into Max Period.
All right, so as we sort of were saying earlier, this is an old boss song that was revived in 2014. The challenge chart is new, but even the expert chart is nothing to be sneezed at. Someone please tell John to play the expert chart. He does not want to play the challenge. He's not even on that cab. Okay. Hopefully he'll figure it out. If he doesn't figure it out, this will be really funny.
It's on challenge. What a great pick.
Okay, so you can see that some players are adjusting their appearance mod and going for what is called Sudden Plus. So what Sudden Plus does is it lets you cover some of the playfield, but in a way that you can sort of toggle. The idea being for songs with slowdowns, if you cover up part of the playfield, there's like fewer notes on the screen, so it's less visual clutter and you're able to focus on some notes more. That doesn't work for everyone, but it does work for a good number of players. And as we said, the song does have a slowdown to 180 BPM in the middle, and it does have a pretty long stop going into that, so there is a place to toggle Sudden Plus. Usually untoggling it, if you're going to use it for the slowdown, can be a bit finicky, because there's not a great place to turn it off. So what I've actually seen some players do is leave it on at the start, and then turn it off for the slowdown. We'll see what they do.
Which is so hard. Luckily with World, we have the new constant feature, which now takes that away, so you don't have to worry about messing up.
So you can see on Oxfordvalley's screen, like, the top half of his playfield is completely obstructed. Okay, it looks like the two cabs started at roughly the same point, so that's good for trying to tell who's in the lead. It looks like Oxfordvalley has a small lead here over, I think WDRM is in second, and then Chaos in the J. WDRM actually still has a gold combo, which is really impressive, because that first section, as we said, kind of drifts. Okay, that transition is actually really hard. The section is really quiet, so like being able to execute and time this well in a tournament setting is kind of a skill set in its own. Okay, there we go. It speeds back up to 300. Oxfordvalley looks like he has a decent lead. WDRM staying in second. Okay, now it's going to speed up to 600, so just constant red notes. Ha! Red notes. That's cool.
Unintended.
All right, John does not know the song, but he's trying. Okay.
Definitely a knowledge check.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so Oxfordvalley pulls that off, but not by a whole lot. WDRM only 10 points behind.
And again with Oxford, surprise you every single time. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying that gimmicky charts are something he is good at, so that is maybe not too much of a surprise, but it's still very impressive,
surprise,
like holding a full combo on that.
And then next we have New Era, which again is going to be another gimmick chart, which this one would be Oxford's pick.
Yeah, so Oxford is currently technically third, but really tied for second if we're using point totals. So how this tournament is scored overall, you see the total points column there in the center of the screen. If you get first on a song, so everyone is ranked on their EX score at the end of a song. If you get first, that's 3 points. If you get second, that's 2. If you get third, that's 1. If you get fourth, that is 0. So John won the first 2 songs and got last on that one, so he has 6 points. WDRM and Oxfordvalley have 5 points, and Jay has 2. So Oxfordvalley is 1 point off first place going into his pick, which is a pretty nice position to be in. There's still 2 songs after this, so it's not like he is obviously going to win. And he might not even win his pick, right? Anything can happen in a tournament.
See you next time.
Like, you certainly want to win your pick if you're playing, but it is not a guarantee.
I'm going to send out that link really quick to family.
Alright, so we're taking a very small break to log in again because DDR doesn't really have a proper event mode. There are some games, like in the Groove and Step Maniacs, that allow you to play like as many songs as you want before quitting out. DDR doesn't really have that feature, so when we play a set of 6 songs, that is actually 2 sets of 3 songs. So we get a nice little intermission where we hope players remember their login information and all of that
One of the most
But
important things I think we came across with logging in as well is we are playing on the Eagle server. It's very, very important that most of the players had adjusted their settings prior to these pools, settings such as your screen filters, stuff like that, just to make sure it's an easier gameplay for everybody.
Right. Although the break between like the sets of 3 is probably kind of nice because like, you know, it's a time for players to catch their breath and what have you. Especially after those last 2 songs, like 2 16s, you'll probably want at least a small break before the next 2 16s.
Keep in mind, luckily, I think all players did get a warm-up round, so...
Yeah, so at this point, we're probably not too worried about them not being warmed up. In a tournament, it is kind of a skill in its own right to be able to either warm up quickly or be able to perform well when you're not warmed up. But after those first 3 songs, they all seem to be doing pretty well, so
yes, exactly.
I don't think we have too much to worry about there.
Yeah, so definitely a knowledge check on this next one. Excited to see how everybody kind of performs with this one.
Yeah, so Oxfordvalley, this is his pick, so we can imagine he will know it.
Wow, very on sync on this one.
The main thing is, how will everyone else do it? Okay, once again, we have a pretty good start, so, you know, if you're trying to follow along to see who's ahead at home, there are like 4 numbers.
Oxford holding white. Commentators
that
curse.
doesn't count as a commentator's curse. Like, it's a white combo. You're not going to MFC a 15 in a tournament. I mean, some people will, but like you usually don't see that until the very end.
Very, very rare.
Okay, so it looks like Oxfordvalley has a decent lead. I think John is in second. He and WDRM are pretty close, and Jay's not really that far behind. The gimmicks do not calm down though, so we'll see how well they know it. Oxfordvalley maintaining his perfect full combo, so hasn't gotten a great or worse yet. Yeah, he knows this chart extremely well. He has a pretty sizable lead, so, you know, I don't want to say the other players can't come back, but, you know, he's...
a lot of work.
This is his to lose, really. You can only really catch up if one other player, like, starts messing up, and Oxfordvalley doesn't seem to be doing that, so... between the other players, looks like WDRM has snuck into second. John is holding third. You know, they're all doing what they can. I mean, if you're playing a gimmick chart and you don't know the gimmicks, there isn't really a whole lot you can do. Oxfordvalley is still gold. Okay, so this ending, it's not very gimmicky, but it has a lot of twists. So you can see Oxfordvalley actually doing the crossovers. Unfortunately lost his perfect full combo there. Those crossovers are pretty technical.
Oxford will take this one.
Takes that by a lot.
Definitely an Oxford pick for sure.
Yes, and that's enough to get him into first overall. So, like we were saying earlier, first on a song is 3 points. So if he was 1 point behind John going into that, and John got third, that's a difference of 2 points. So now he's in first by a single point. So very, very good pick. And again, only 2 grades on a pretty technical 15. Yeah, that's really solid. Thankfully, that's the last 2 songs are not particularly gimmicky, so
There's some tech in there, especially for Gimme. You got those little gallop sections.
But like there aren't any stops or slowdowns like in that last song, so
It'd be a nice breather.
Yeah, chart knowledge not expected to be as big a part here. Not to say that like you don't need to know the charts. Like it always helps to know what you're playing, because Give Me does have some pretty technical rhythms. Rampage Hero does have some pretty technical turns. And you don't want to be caught off guard by that.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how they do. Again, these are the 2 songs that neither player protected or vetoed, so these are kind of like neutral territory. Yeah, so this could go pretty much any way.
This song is such a banger.
For sure.
This is one, yeah, I was going to say the challenge chart. For some reason, I don't remember the challenge chart on this, but I just...
There's a reason you don't remember it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so all of the Golden League songs received challenge charts during, I think it was A3.
Yes.
A few years after their release, and they're a bit of a mixed bag. One of the things that distinguishes the expert chart of Give Me is this sort of polyrhythm that you'll see at the start, where there will be like a 16th syncopation that you're hitting with one foot, and then the other one is just hitting like straight quarter notes. It's a really satisfying rhythm to nail. Got a little stream there. Yeah, this part here. You see your right foot is doing like syncopated 16th notes, and your left is doing quarters, and now it's reversed.
Would we consider this kind of a gallop?
They are gallops, and then you do the same thing, but now it's syncopated on the up arrow, so if you want to do some crossovers there, you can. If you want to turn that, or if you want to double step that, you can do that as well. This is pretty close so far. Looks like Oxfordvalley has about a 10-point lead over John and WDRM. We'll see how that holds. This chart, it changes up. So being good at the first half doesn't necessarily mean you'll be good at the second one.
Here they'll get a quick little breather after the stream. Those syncopated jacks are like really hard to time as well. Like that is just a very high level of foot control. You got these little 3 and 5 note bursts. They're handling it very well. Looks like Jay has caught up to WDRM and is now in third. Still between Oxfordvalley and John in first. I think Oxfordvalley has a small lead. He still has a perfect full combo. So that's really good to see. He's definitely been practicing for this tournament for sure.
Yeah. Tied for first at that little break. One kind of advantage of like having 2 cabs is like during breaks there's always a small temptation to look at the other player's screen, and like if you're playing on different machines you can't really do that. Yeah, so John actually snuck by at the end and won that by 2 points.
Wow, it's a 4 perfect
which
difference
is kind of crazy. Yeah. Oxfordvalley kept the perfect full combo and didn't even do badly on that. Well, of course he didn't do badly, but like 30 perfects on that is really good.
Really good.
So, yeah, we're already at a point in the tournament where like you can get a 30 perfect PFC on a 15 and not win a song. So that is a preview of things to come.
Great job to Oxford
and
for that.
That actually, as far as advancement implications go, so for who's going to come out of this pool, it's only the winner, right?
Yeah.
So Oxfordvalley and John are tied going into the last song. So they both have 10 match points. So whoever wins this next song between the two of them is going to win. So it's kind of a head-to-head. Obviously, the other 2 players are still like going to want to do their best because you still want to show up and like perform your best even if you're not able to advance.
Exactly. Every piece of practice helps.
Right, for sure. And I guess sort of the interesting case is that if Oxfordvalley and John tie on this song, they'd have the same number of match points, and Oxfordvalley would advance because he has a higher combined EX score. So the total EX points you've gotten between these 6 songs is your tiebreaker if you have the same number of match points. And Oxfordvalley has almost 400 more than John, that sounds like a lot, but that's pretty much just max period in New Era. Like that is just knowing the 2 gimmicky charts, which you don't want that to affect more than just a tiebreaker because chart knowledge is great, but ultimately we want to see like good execution as well. And knowing gimmicks is only one part of this game. All right, so going into the last song, started pretty much the same time on both cabs, so slightly easier to follow along. So right off the bat, this chart has some pretty interesting eighth note turns. We'll see if any of them. I actually couldn't see if any of them did it, so I was about to lie.
John and Oxford definitely want this. It's going to be a very strong MA battle on this one.
So the first half of this is, I mean, there's still some little bursts. I don't want to say it's nothing. They all still have perfect full combos. It looks like it's really close, actually. I cannot tell. I think WDRM or J might be in first. I don't know. They're all really close, and they all still have a perfect full combo. Okay. We saw at the break. It looks like Jay has like a 1-point lead, or did. It's probably different now. First person to lose his perfect full combo, which doesn't really affect anything. Like, it's just the color of that number, and it's 1 EX point. Does look like he dropped behind a little though, so I think it's between WDRM and John, but Oxfordvalley is also right there as well. And Jay's, I said he fell behind. He's really not that far behind. Okay, this ending is like really twisty. We'll see how the players handle that. And, okay, John loses perfect full combo, but still, ooh, oh.
Wow.
Okay. Wow, so WDRM pulled out a win on that song. Oxfordvalley got second though, which means he will advance from this pool. But yeah, that was extremely close. Which, like, a 16-point difference between first and fourth is crazy. And if you look at, like, their timing too. Yeah, congratulations to everyone in that pool.
Yes, congratulations to all of you.
Extremely close.
And again, as we were talking about with Boba Cup number 2, watching Oxford advance from pool 7 up to pool 11, I feel like when that adrenaline really kicks in, he's a whole nother player.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, we started him higher this time.
Yes.
Because now we know sort of what he's about.
He's surprised it's all at Boba Cup, though, with this seeding.
Yeah, absolutely. Which isn't to say, like, he's just a tournament player. Like, he has multiple PFCs on 17s and what have you. Like, he is very good. Like, this isn't really a surprise. But it's still very impressive.
And then, let's see.
Yeah, so he will advance to face Yokama, OSC, and Cosminx in the next pool. So
We got Dylan, Pike, and Cosmic.
Yeah, that should be very interesting. Okay, that is.
All right, everybody.
This is actually my only commentatorship, so I will be signing off. You will see me later, actually playing. You'll see both of us later, actually playing. D is in the last pool, and then I am in bracket.
That's it.
So.
See you next.
And then, really quick, we are going to be taking an intermission as we do our card draws and get ready for our next pool.
Yeah, so we're just gonna, like, hang tight and see you probably, I would say, on the hour. It looks like that's in like 2 minutes, so probably a little after the hour because we need a few minutes to get set up and what have you.
And a big thank you to all of you at home streaming. Thank you so much for all of those who stayed up late last night to enjoy the stream as well.
Yep. Thank you for supporting dance game tournaments, even if you are just at home watching on Twitch. It is always great to see people turn out to watch these events and support our community. So we'll see you all later.